Yes. So there's June 12. Strategy, governance, and ethics. So I believe so far we've been doing an introduction of management, and we say the management is, of course, to try and achieve things. Management is the process of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Those are some of the functions of management. I believe we were able to look at the skills that managers require: conceptual skills, diagnostic skills, human relations skills, and technical skills, political skills, analytical skills, communication skills, and problem-solving skills. All right, so we also looked at characteristics of management, because management is a social process, a continuous process. It is universal, it is purposeful, it is a science, it's an art, and it's a profession. And of course, we were able to mention some levels of management. Yeah. Look at some of the 3 levels of management: top level management, middle level management, and lower level management. So today, I'll begin with a very interesting issue, an issue on what is called the managerial roles. I will only mention them because I believe last week I gave you a question. Yeah. I gave you a question last week about managerial roles. Nikasema give me 10 managerial roles. Yeah. So let me list those managerial roles, and then I discuss them together, and then I go into what is interesting to me. So managerial roles. When you talk about managerial roles, we are referring to the 10 roles of a manager, according to somebody called Henry Mintisberg. According to somebody called Henry Mintisberg. These are Z, Henry Mintisberg. And of course, when you talk about the 10 roles of a manager, he categorized them into 3 categories. He talked about number 1, what we refer to as interpersonal roles. Interpersonal roles. So what are the interpersonal roles of a manager? Number 1, we have what is called the figurehead. Number 1, we have what is called the figurehead. Number 2, we have what is called the leader role. Number 3, we have what is called liaison role. So what is this? What is this? What are these? I believe Mulijibu Swali. Say Mulijibu Swali. Hello. I am operating under the assumption that we will find this one. Is that true? We'll find, yeah? Yeah. So if Mulivanya, and that is true, I'm giving you the benefit of a doubt, you'd say that if a manager is a figurehead, what is a figurehead? The figurehead is that individual who is a symbol of the organization, his representation, representative, symbol of the organization. So we see normally that without a clear head, without a clear leader, an organization is likely to fail. All right. What was Zoom? I hope munanipata sawasawa. Yes?
Sawasawa.
Good, cheers. Good. So if a manager is a representative role, he is the leader. So he is the leader. He is the leader. And if he's the leader, he is the one what is called authority. And for any organization to succeed, this must be, of course, be there. He's the one to sign the contracts. He's the one to welcome trainees into the organization. He's the one to lead the meetings. He's the one to address the vision of the organization and where it wants to go. Even in a family, we have a leader. Who's the leader of a family? The father. Who's the leader of the family? The elders. Elders are leaders of society. The elderly. What if the children are also elderly? Does that make them the leaders of the family? They can have one representative. Today's world is very interesting. Today's world, we are negotiating everything. Hata watoto wana negotiate na wazazi. Mimi sijawahi negotiate na wazazi wangu. Sijawahi. Akisema amesema. You just comply. So you have that hierarchy. You have that what? Hierarchy. Figurehead. Number two, you have what is called the leader role. The leader role is the one who inspires. A leader, the one is to inspire and motivate. This is to motivate. He's the one to inspire and motivate the others to a direction that he or she believes is going to be successful for the organization. Then, of course, liaison officer, we talk about networking. He's the one responsible for networking. An organization must have connections. That's why you have connections. You have connections. Ukitaka maji, there's somebody you can call. Ukitaka gas, there's someone you can call. If you want to assist somebody to get a job opportunity, there's someone that you know somewhere. Networking. So the organization needs supplies, raw materials. Ndani are responsible to connect the organization with the others. Let me mute this one. Okay, so now that we have that one, we go to the second role of a manager. Number two. Information role. And the information role, we talk about number one, monitor role. Number two, disseminator role. We talk about spokesperson role. So what is this? What is this? Who's a monitor? Who's a monitor? Yeah? Who's a monitor? A monitor is the one who's in charge of supervision. He's the one who's supposed to keep track of what is going on. So when you talk about monitoring, we are talking about to oversee the activities of the organization. Because somebody must oversee. And I believe in a household, this role falls to the mother. This role falls to the mother most of the time. Monitor. Because the mother is the one who spends most time with the children. So he's supposed to oversee their children, the children. What are they doing? Where are they doing it? Why are they doing it? Changes of behavior. So monitor role. You'd also say that under monitor role, your work is to receive and seek information. To receive and seek information. So why are we receiving and seeking information? Remember, we are supposed to make decisions. How do we make better decisions if we don't have information? Who's supposed to gather this information? Hatuwezi kuwa tumeketi hapo si wote, tuna assume that everything is okay. No, there must be somebody who's actively gathering information. Number two, we have the disseminator role. The disseminator means transmission. Transmission. Yes. Under company law, section 3, paper number 8, we talk about a membership of individuals of a company can transfer through transmission, through death. the next of kin or the agent automatically become the what? The representative. They become the member of the organization through transmission. Today's transmission is all about information. We are saying that at the end of the day, we need somebody who's going to be making decisions and passing this information. We have decided to go online. Who's supposed to communicate that? We have decided the classes are going to be from 6 to 8 o'clock. Who has decided? Who's supposed to be told? Because you can't make decisions at the board and expect people at the lower level to know. Yes? They made a decision about, is it yesterday or the day before yesterday, they were reading the budget. Yeah? See, they made those decisions. They discussed those decisions. Now they are coming to tell us about it. Because if you don't do that, who's supposed to do that? Next time, nitaenda kununua mkate, nipate mkate ni 200. Niulize mbona mkate ni 200? Mbona mimi sijui nimeambiwa tu na ule mtu analetanga mkate ni 200. I will complain, So to avoid that issue of resistance to change, resistance to what? You communicate. The last one, spokesrole. Spokesrole means that you speak on behalf of the organization. You speak on behalf of the organization. Your work is to speak on behalf of the organization. And we are saying that if you're going to be dealing with the government, if you're dealing with suppliers, if you're dealing with the public, if you're dealing with society, if you're dealing with anyone, the person responsible for sharing this information is the manager. The last one, number 3, sorry. We have what is called decision role. And decision roles we have entrepreneur role, we have disturbance handler, we have resource allocator, and of course we have negotiator role. So what is this? What is this? When you talk about the entrepreneur role, what are we talking about? What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the process of combining resources to create wealth and job opportunities for others. Who's supposed to do that? Who starts the organization? Who leads the organization? Who ensures that there's productivity? So, entrepreneur role. He is the one supposed to combine the resources for productivity. Combine the resources for what? For productivity. If the company is making losses, as a combined resources vizuri. If the company is making profit, he's the one responsible. Sasa, number 2, disturbance handler. When we talk about disturbance handler, we are talking about that an organization is always going to be conflict. Always. There's always conflict. Hata ndani yako kuna conflict. Ulikuwa unauliza nikuje class ama ni attend through Zoom. Ndio, naweza kuliamka umechelewa. Watu wa Zoom. Mulichelewa kuamka ama ni leo mmeamua tu ni Zoom. So you'd want to do something. You'd be pushed to do something, but there's a conflict within you. Internally, we are conflicted human beings. Yesterday I was having a discussion with a friend, and they were under the impression that they are good people. Do you have good people? Do you have good people? Hello, people online. Can you chat me up here? Do you have good people? Yes. Do you have good people? Do you think you're good? Not exactly. Do you think you're good? Who's good? Only God is good. So if only God is good, what does that make us? So I was telling them that essentially, as human beings, we have a conflict within us. We have what? A conflict within us. There's a struggle within us, a struggle between being good and not being good. And we are continuously failing. Kila siku, you continuous fail. Kila siku unaanguka. But that doesn't mean that is the end of the world. No. That struggle is there. And the moment you lie to yourself, unajiambia, mimi nakuwa mzima mzuri. Mimi na matendo yangu inakuanga ni mzuri. That is a fallacy. Unaweza fanya matendo mazuri, but that doesn't make you mtu mzuri. Look at that. So as you continuously realize that even within you that there's conflict, if you come to an organization, there's even more conflict. There's group conflict. There's individual conflict. Yes? For the longest time ever. Yes, today I was reading the news about a very beautiful police woman who is reporting bosses because of sexual harassment. Another morning news. Morning news is trending on Twitter. I was looking at it and I was asking myself, because these things that has been happening over time. I was asking myself, why is this issue of sexual harassment always ongoing? And then I was reading history of people working together, and I realized this. For the longest time ever, ever, in organizations, we used to have men working. Only men used to go to work. So men did not work with women. Men worked with men. And there were different types of conflict when men worked with men. Post-1954, with the feminist movement and pushing for women to have an opportunity to also work, women were brought into the workplace. So here we had men working alongside what? Women. Something that had never been done before. What do you think is going to happen? As a manager, there's going to be conflict. And all of the conflict between men and women working together, one of them is sexual harassment. So how do you deal with it? So, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? That's the question. How do you deal with it? And of course, we are going to call conflict resolution mechanisms, or ADR, alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Yulisoma under paper number 2, commercial law, negotiation, meditation, litigation. So that is that. Those are the things you're going to employ as a manager. Number 3, we have what is called resource allocator. Who is a resource allocator? The resource allocator determines how resources are going to be allocated. They determine how resources are going to be shared. Yes. Which department gets what? Finance department, this is your budget. HR department, this is your budget. This is going to be the salary. This is how much you're going to use on marketing. All these are responsibilities of the manager, resource allocator. And if you are the manager of your house, I believe you are the resource allocator. Sio? Wewe unaamua rent italipwa pesa ngapi? Sio? Italipwa lini? Unaweza kuwa ulikuwa unaishi nyumba ya 50k, corona itokee uamue hapa tutawezana. Acha tuambie nyumba ya 20k. Sio? Because you are the one with the resources. You are the one who's determining these things. So there you have it. The next one we have what is called a negotiator role. What is to negotiate? To negotiate means to get the best outcome in dealings. The best outcome in dealings. So if you're going to have some deals that the organization is going to be making, deals such as the making of contracts, you make those deals that are of benefit to the organization. So those are the 10 roles of a manager, and we'll leave them at that. Let us come into today's issue. And today's issue is I'm going to discuss functions of management. Functions of management. Functions of management. So what are the functions of management? Functions of management. So what are the functions of management? When you talk about the functions of management, I like them to look them beside the roles of a manager because they're almost similar. When we talk about the functions of management, we talk about the 5 major functions, which are PODSC. That is planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control. Those are the 5 major functions of management. And these functions follow each other in a particular order, as they are not random. Hello, welcome to today's class. Sasa, ndo tumeanza. Hii ni ile swali nililowapatia last week. So mko mmejibu? Kama bado. Yeah, tajibu tu. Okay, sawa tu. So 5 major functions. They follow each other in a particular order. The first one, we have what is called planning. What about planning? Why do we plan? What is a plan? Types of planning. So when we talk about planning, it is in planning that we have what is called the vision of the organization. Where does the organization want to be? That's how. In the planning, we also have what is called the strategic plan of the organization. Strategic plan means the overall plan of the organization. This strategic plan is further divided into what is called long-term plans, medium-term plans, and short-term plans. It is also further divided into what is called operational plans. How are we going to operate? Once you have your plans in order, we go to what is called organizing. What is to organize? To organize would mean that you want to combine resources in a manner that is going to be successful, a manner that is going to yield results. That's all. So I'll give you some short notes to say, after you organize, you must direct. What is to direct? To direct is to provide leadership. So directing means to provide what? Leadership. No. Direct leadership. Lay a figurehead. Planning. Nimesema na planning tumesema you want to combine resources. Nimesema na planning you want to have a vision of where you want to be. So if you want to know where you're going to be, you must also be a leader. So we are saying, and organizing, you organize so that you combine resources in a manner that is going to be successful, to yield results. You entrepreneur role, resource allocator. Come on, whether you're seeing that, directing, you're providing leadership. You want to inspire, figurehead, leader role. So once you direct, you have inspired individuals, you have inspired your employees to move in a particular way, you must staff. What is staffing? Staffing means that you should have recruited the right people with the right skills, with the right experience, with the right knowledge, background. Because if you don't have the right people, productivity is going to be affected. And then, of course, the last one, control. You must control. Why do you want to control? Because you have a vision that you plan for. You have a mission, you have values. And now to control means that you course correcting. Course correction. What is course correction? This means you identify the gap. You want to deviation. And once you identify the deviation, you correct the deviation. And that's why in MA right now, mutafundisha mambo na standard what? Deviation. Kwa nini? Because as managers, you have to measure deviation. Nilikuwa nimesema nataka sales ya hii. Nimepata sales ya hii. What is the reason for this gap? And then you course correct. So take down these short notes. Process number 1. Functions of management. Functions of management. Mandika functions of management. Say this introduction statement. Henry Fayol inaandikwa hivi, Henry Fayol and other leading manager theorists and other leading management theorists, Henry Fayol and other leading management theorists identified and classified management functions as follows. Identified and classified management functions as follows. Number one, planning. What is planning? Say this. This is the process of determining the objectives of the organization. This is the process of determining the objectives of the organization. It is the most important function of management. It is the most important function of management. So this, it essentially affects all levels of management. It essentially affects all levels of management by setting objectives, policies, procedures, and programs. It essentially affects all levels of management by setting objectives, strategies, policies, procedures, and programs. You know the most important. Kuna kuwaga na strategic plan. Which is you'd have something of the sort. You would have what is called a strategic plan, which is for the whole organization, and that strategic plan will be divided into long-term, medium, short-term plans. Then you have the departmental plans, and so many other types of plans. There are so many types of plans. Nikiamua kumention hapa nitamention over 8 types of plans. I think yeah. But sasa tukikuja kwa strategy, nitazimention zote na discuss. Number 2, organizing. Organizing. This is group effort, harnessed, harnessed, H-A-R-S, harnessed, yes, for the success of any activity. This is group effort, harnessed for the success of any activity. Say this. It involves division of labor, underlying division of labor. It involves division of labor, underlying division of labor, comma, assigning duties, and fixing responsibility. Very good. Say this. You blend different resources. You blend different resources You blend different resources. E.g., money, machinery, men, materials, minutes, to achieve productivity. Have you noticed? So this is an N. Money, men, machinery, minutes. These are the examples of resources. That's an N. In organizing, we also have departmentalization. In organizing, we also have departmentalization, decentralization, decentralization, and delegation, Good leaders are able to delegate. Good leaders are able to do what? Delegate. Kama huwezi delegate, tuna shida. You'll do everything yourself. Unakaa hivi hapa kufagiliwa ama kusifagiliwe. Hapa tuweke no. If you're a good leader, you must identify people within your structure who can be able to do certain things. And that's why kunakuwa na your structure, kunakuwa na your hierarchy, so that you don't do everything yourself. Right now, there's I don't know that you guys are coming from Mombasa, Thika Road, Jogoo Road. You have seen the construction along Mombasa Road, isn't it? Your barabara highway. You have seen it? Can you imagine that Uhuru kila siku lazima kuwe hapa? If the president of Kenya has every day to come by there, how difficult would that be? One of the authorities in charge of the project is also Kenya. Kenya, that is the national highway, is complying with the construction company over there to ensure that the project continues. Can you imagine if the whole board of Kenya has to every day show up? It's very difficult. Even in your home, in your house, you have delegated. Sindio? Asubuhi kiamka ujuda aliwasha stima lakini stima iko on, sindio? Kuna mtu amepika chai. Kuna mtu amepika chakula. Kuna mtu ameosha nguo. Kuna mtu amelipa rent. Kuna mtu amefanya usafi. You see, delegation. Kuna mtu ameenda kuchota maji. Kuna mtu ameenda kulipa tokens. You don't have to do everything yourself, sindio? And when you do everything yourself as a leader, you become frustrated. You become what? Frustrated. And it is this frustration, first of all, leaders, when they have frustration, they become poor leaders. Because anakuwa very emotional, anakuwa hyperreactive. Kila kitu akifanya anafanya na feelings. Mliamua mtafanyaga singio. So ana deal na nyinyi vibaya sana. So as a leader, you must be able to delegate. Don't do everything yourself. It's not even right. As you delegate, you give something called a learning opportunity. You train people to learn, to know how to do things. So that one day as a manager, you don't show up and things run smoothly. But if you don't delegate, there are managers who are at the center of everything. Check, do you have atumesainaje? Chai kipikwa, do you have anataka kuonja chai? Asubuhi ndio hiyo kwa mtu. You need to delegate. Wewe utakuwa unaangalia hivi, wewe utakuwa unaangalia hivi. So that is that. Number 3, staffing. S-T-A-F-F-I-N-G, staffing. Staffing. What is staffing? Staffing. Says it is the provision of proper personnel. It is the provision of proper personnel who are competent, qualified, and with the essential skills, to perform the job effectively and efficiently. Provision of proper personnel who are competent, qualified, and with the essential skills to perform the job effectively and efficiently. Say this, manpower planning requires scientific selection and training. Manpower planning requires scientific selection and training of personnel, comma, proper remuneration, comma, performance appraisal, in order to have the function working. So these are some of the things. What are some of the things you consider when hiring people? If you are the HR manager? Experience. Yeah, academic qualifications. What were online? Can you chat me up? Tell me, what are some of the things you'd consider when hiring people? Now, usiseme experience, usiseme academic qualification. Which other? Yes, which other? When you're hiring people, what would you consider? Experience has been mentioned. Age. Is age not a factor? It is a factor. Yeah. There are jobs that require young people so that they can be misused. They are energetic. You also consider culture. Is that true? Culture. Is culture an important factor when hiring people? Culture is important. Religion is important. You'd consider religion. Did you know that? There are people with a culture that they are lazy. Will you hire people with a culture that they are lazy? Yes, kuna watu wako lazy. Ama mkisikia nikisema culture watu lazy. Unadhani kuna mtu na target. Hakuna mtu na target. Somebody is saying Teresi saying communication skills. Yeah, you look at communication skills. Are they able to communicate? Is it a job that requires somebody to communicate? Public speaking skills. Kama hii job yetu hii. Are you able to communicate? Are you able to get your point across what wakuelewa? You look at that. Confidence. So, hizo tuliche kama virtues. You also want to look at values. Ni mtu honest. Ni mtu transparent. Ni mtu akona integrity. Ama ni mwizi. Sio? That's one number who get certificate of good what? Conduct. Wajue kama wewe ni mwizi ama umeshaifanya crime. These things are there. There are things that you're going to look at as a manager, as you're going to hire. Technical skills, analytical skills. Yeah. I have a friend of mine working with the United Nations, and the other day we were debating about something, about how they recruit. And I was asking them, how comes people can apply for a job at UN? There are 3 or 2 persons that I know have been applying for a job at UN. They have applied continuously, but they even go for the interview, but they don't get the job. And they are qualified academically. They have the experience. So I was asking them, what do you look at? And then now we started having the talk. And they told me that sometimes what you think they would look for is not actually what they look for. He was telling me that they have come to realize that, yes, there are people with the technical competencies, that is the academic qualifications, which most people have. But maybe with regard to social skills, they're lacking in social skills. They're lacking in integrity. Maybe they're lacking in communication. They are lacking in transparency. They are lacking in accountability. So how would you measure? So I was asking them, how would you measure accountability in an interview? And then he posed a question for me that I was supposed to answer. I answered the question and he said, you have failed. How have I failed? Okay, so they asked me a question on this. So they have, it seems that they have designed a particular set of aptitude test to test for integrity, to test how would you react in a particular scenario? How would you deal with a certain context in an organization? And depending on how you answer that question, they would maybe establish that you're this kind of person. So, okay. Good for you, good for you, good for you. When you're dealing with a cashier, you don't know the person who's going to count first. You are the person who's going to be honest. Cashier, when you pesa pale, you don't know the person who you put him too slow, but honest. Kuliko mtu fast, nada kuibia. So they're in organizations, sometimes they look for a factor that maybe yourself as an interviewee, you'd not think is under consideration. So that is that. Let's go to function number 4, directing. Function number 4, directing. What is directing? This refers to providing positive and dynamic leadership. This refers to providing positive and dynamic leadership. Positive and dynamic leadership. Positive and dynamic leadership. See this, it implies creating a favorable working environment. It implies creating a favorable work environment. It implies creating a favorable working environment where workers can express their skills and creativity. Where workers can express their skills and creativity. Where workers can express their skills and creativity. The next one, say this. This function takes up the responsibility of guiding. This function takes up the responsibility of guiding and supervising. Guiding and supervising the activities, operations. This function takes up the responsibility of supervising, of guiding, supervising the activities, operations of the organization. Very good. Let us go to the last function, function 5, controlling. 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 Say this. It consists of verifying whether. It consists of verifying whether. It consists of verifying whether everything across conforms with the plan. Conforms with the plan. Conforms with the plans. Say this. Instructions issued. Instructions issued. The principles established. The instructions issued, the principles established, and the objective of pointing out, weaknesses, errors, in order to rectify and prevent reoccurrence. Control therefore involves establishing of standards. Control therefore involves establishing of standards, comma, appraisal of performance. Control therefore involves establishment of standards, appraisal of performance, and taking corrective action. Controlling therefore involves establishment of standards, comma, appraisal of performance, and taking corrective action. Questions? I have this question down. Guys online, are you able to receive? You together with us? Yes, Teresia, Nancy, Kate, and Kaniaru. Are you guys receiving us? Online, let's see. Sisi anaendelea kupika chai. On the left class, anaenda kupika chai. Ndio tuko hapa tunamuulizia. Question. Na hizi mjibu. Sijui nianze kuchukua kalamu nianze kuzunguka hapa things. Ndio mjibu hizi maswali. Question. There is a directing function involves providing leadership. Directing function involves providing leadership. And mention at least 4 major leadership styles. B. What are some of the traits of a good leader? Na nikisema traits of a good leader, usiweze kuniambia hardworking tafadhali. Kuna majibu upatiana. Characteristics of a good leader, hardworking. Of course, he hardworking. What's the number of hardworking? That together. Inspirational. Mention those major factors. Characteristics of a good leader, he is honest. Of course, he must be honest. Talk about accountability. Talk about transparency. That's how. Talk about integrity. That's how we hardworking. Come street. No points is on Patiana. Next one. What are the advantages of democratic leadership style? Follows. Number 2. Control function is key to achieving objectives. A. Discuss the steps of controlling. 6 marks. Compare feedback and feed forward as control mechanisms. 6 marks. Number 3. What are the benefits of delegation? Four, what are the symptoms of poor delegation? 4 marks. One of the symptoms of poor delegation, 4 marks. So those are a few questions that I would be interested in seeing you guys being able to answer them. Guys who are online to receive saying yes and Anipata. What about Nancy? Nancy, are you able to receive us clearly? And Kate and Kanyaru. Kanyaru. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. All right, Nancy, good. What about Kate? Kate is good. Thank you. What about the last person? Yes. So that is that. Let's come into our next major issue today. Our next major issue today is the principles of management. Our next major issue today is the principles of management. And there are several principles of management. There are actually 14 principles of management according to who? According to Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol is also referred to as the father of management. Father of management. Na kitu yoyote baadaye tunasoma kuhusu management inaonekananga from Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol laid out the principles of management that any other in a borrow from them. We'll discuss about 4 schools of management. 4 schools of what? Management. And the first school in tutasoma near Henry Fayol. So it's called the Administrative School of Management. Good. Yeah. Administrative School of Management. You tutasoma ya kwanza. Tukisoma Administrative School of Management, ndio ya Henry Fayol. All the other schools zitafuata hapo zinafanana na School of Henry Fayol. We'll be able to see that. Nobody has texted online. Yes, is there you can zoom the board. Zoom the board. How? I think that's the place that is there. Me and Reginyangu ni dog, but I will be loud enough to steer. So, the principles of management. What are the principles of management? When we talk about the principles of management, we are talking about those guiding philosophies of how management should be approached. And the guiding philosophies of management tell us that if these things are not present, management is going to fail. Billions of it to management is going to fail. And there are 14. Billions of it to management is going to fail. So we'll be able to list them and then discuss them in greater detail. Is that better? I hope you can be able to see. So what are the 14 principles of management? Series, introduction statement. There are 14 administrative principles. There are 14 administrative principles. Propounded, yeah, by Henry Fayol. by Henry Fayol. Number 1, division of labor. Number 1, division of labor. Muhimu sana. As my pastor likes to say, everybody's job is nobody's job. Alisemaje? Everybody's job is nobody's job. Yeah. I remember when you were young. Remember when you were young and your mom or dad say, na nipate hapa kumeosha. Ajambia mtu yote. Afasema nipate hapa kumeosha. And then he would go, and then jioni akujaosha, and he would say, mbona hapa kujaosha? And now he would point to you and ask you, mbona hapa kujaosha? Alafu ungejiteteaje? Si mimi ndo niliosha vyombo, so singeosha hapa. And your brother would be told, na wewe mbona hukuosha hapa? Si mimi nilichota maji, hivyo singeosha hapa. So you would go to a particular child, ask them why wasn't something done, and everybody had an excuse, and it was a very valid excuse. Mimi nilikuwa nafanya hivi, kwa hivyo ndio maana sikufanya hivi. And the next time your dad left, he would say, Mary, nipate hapo kumeosha. Kevin, nipate umechota maji. Mary, nipate umeosha hizi nguo. Kevin, nipate umeosha hizi nguo. So you would make sure that he specifically mentions you, because if he doesn't mention you, and therefore that's why we must have structure. We must have what? Structure. And the structure enables us to divide what? Labor. Say this, division of labor. Work should be divided into specialized units. Work should be divided into specialized units in order to increase efficiency and output. Work should be divided into specialized units in order to increase efficiency and output. Number 2, authority. There must be authority. Good. That's sour. So there must be what was I saying? I was saying authority. There must be authority. Because if there is no authority, no one can tell you anything. Wezi niambia, wezi ni show, sitafanya, fanya kile unafanya, utadu. Yeah, there must be authority. Because if there is no authority, it means no one can give orders and no one can take instructions. Because unaniambia kama nani? How many times have we said that? Unaniambia kama nani? And then there must be order. Even in the family setup, even in a marriage, there must be order. And the order comes from what? Authority. There's only one person who can give orders. Who? Is it the father or the mother? And who gives orders in a family? And he may say, who gives orders? It depends. Depends on what? Okay. Let me stop getting angry. Depends on what? And the breadwinner.
Interesting,
Who? At your heart. Okay. So the breadwinner is the one who gives orders. Okay. Who gives orders in a family? The father. It should be the father. Okay. What do you mean it should be the father? Sometimes na ukipata hiko hivyo kutakuwa na shida. Let me tell you, kutakuwa na shida. Only one person is supposed to be giving orders. We cannot have two heads in a family. Only one. It does not depend. Hello. It does not Whether she's a breadwinner or not, there can only be one head. Let me tell you this. There can only be what? One head. And the head of the family is who? The father is the one to give orders. The one to give what? Instructions. It depends. At it's a, Juicy, I was having another class. Mtu akaniambia at nowadays it is a partnership. Yeah? At it's a partnership. At it should be a partnership. Who lied to you that it should be a partnership? When a man and a woman in a relationship that is leading to marriage, is it an equal partnership? Hello, guys who are online. Mnaweza changia, mtaandika hapa, nitasomea watu, msishtuke. Just ask your questions na tuta give your views. Authority. People in a relationship, man and woman, equal partnership. Ulisikia wapi? It's not an equal partnership. And if you go into it thinking that it's a somebody saying it's a partnership, it's not a partnership. Marriage is not a partnership. Ati we are equal. Ati nikisema hivi, pia unasema hivi. It will end in tears. It will end in tears. Yeah? Yeah? Teresi is saying it's a partnership. Somebody else is also saying it's a partnership. No, it's not a partnership. It's not a partnership. It's not a partnership means that you are equal. And you have equal authority. You can't have equal authority. No. You cannot have equal authority. The president and the deputy president cannot be equal. They each have a function to perform for the success of the organization. It's the same thing, and that's what nowadays in today's society. Kuna shida mingi sana with relationships and marriages. Kwa nini? Because of authority. Because of what? Authority. Watu hawajui, watu hawajafunzwa. Did you know that? Watu hawajafunzwa. People go into marriage na wanasema tunatoshana. Where's me show? Pia mimi na job, pia mimi ni independent. Ukikohoa, pia mimi nakohoa, ukiitika pia no. It cannot work like that. Trust me, it cannot. And ukienda na hiyo approach, it will end in tears. Kuna mtu mmoja ataacha mwingine. Either wewe utaachwa ama utaamua kuachana. Kwa nini? One person must submit. There must be what is called submission. And what has happened is that people have been lied to that submission means oppression. Unaona sasa, hapo ndo kuna shida. People have been lied to submission means oppression. Submission is not oppression. Watu wamedanganya, especially women, wameambiwa that if there's submission to the man in a marriage, that is weakness. Umejipatiana utumike vibaya. And men have also been lied to. When a woman submits, you're in charge. Fanya venye unataka. No, that is wrong. That's the wrong doctrine. Those with authority must use the authority properly. They must not harm those who are under them. Did you know that? Yeah. So if you are the man and the wife has submitted, which she should, you should not cause harm to them. And it is the same dynamic. Employee and employer. The employee submission. Wewe sasa hata wewe una submission kwangu sasa hizi. Ona vile umeketi vizuri, umetulia, unaandika, unanisikiza. And I as the lecturer, I'm not supposed to take advantage of that. I oppress you. Should not. Mali unafanya kazi, this submission. Boss akisema ufike by saa 3, utafika by saa 3. Utabishana yeye. Akisema kazini watu wanyoe nywele, watu wako na short hair. So utanyoa nywele yako. Aseme nataka watu wako na Monday to Friday watu wako na official. Saturday mnaweza vaa casual. Utabishana yeye. You have the right to wear what you want. Kweli ama uongo. But utakuja kazini kama umevaa vitu zako. So it means that this submission, you respect the authority. Na yeye pia does not take advantage of you. Anze kukwambia Monday ukujage na shati ya white na trouser ya blue. When is the, no, I have to take advantage of and do that. So this what is called misleading. People have been misled about submission and authority. Those in authority are taking advantage of their authority and misusing it, which is wrong. Say this, authority. Authority should be vested in formal position created in the organization. Authority should be vested in formal positions created in the organization. So there are positions, and these positions are the ones with authority. Number 3, discipline. There must be discipline. Workers and managers should be disciplined. Managers and workers should be disciplined by respecting rules. Managers and workers should be disciplined by respecting rules that govern activities in the organization. Managers and workers should be disciplined by respecting rules that govern activities in the organization. They should all adhere to the code of conduct. They should all adhere to the code of conduct. They should all adhere to the code of conduct. There must be a code of conduct, and everyone must follow this code of conduct. There's no exemption. Kila mtu lazima afuate. Hello? Kila mtu lazima afuate. It's the same thing in life. There must be discipline. Without discipline, hakutakuwa na success. Alright, next one. Unity of command. Unity of command. Unity of command. What do you mean unity of command? No individual should have more than one immediate supervisor. No individual should have more than one immediate supervisor. No individual should have more than one immediate supervisor. Kwa nini? When employees receive instructions from more than one person at a time, there is confusion. When employees receive instructions from more than one person at a time, there is confusion. When employees receive instructions from more than one person at a time, there is confusion and divided loyalty. This leads to poor coordination. And that is what is happening in our country today with Jubilee government. There is a failure of unity of command. So, yes, President Uhuru is saying this, and the Deputy President Ruto is saying the other thing. So, that's unaona kuna divided loyalty. Sisi kuna tangatanga, kuna kieleweke, kuna watu wa handshake, kuna watu si wa handshake. Confusion. And at the end of the day, I say this, when I become a leader in politics or in governance, I normally say this, that whether we agree on our political agenda or not, there are things that must be done in this country. Today when I was coming, I was thinking about where I come from, at River Kitengela. I was thinking, what do we need in at River Kitengela? How many public schools do we have? Should the public schools be increased? How many public hospitals do we have? What is the state of the sewage systems? Do these people have access to clean water? Look at that. Is there enough security? So whether we agree, whether we agree on political agenda or not, kuna vitu lazima zifanywe. Lazima barabara ikuwe na lami. Ama kwa nini tunatengenezanga budget? Why do we make a budget? Planning. Si tumeplan. Barabara ijengwe, hospitali, dawa, health. There are things that must be done. Whether the governor of Machakos agrees with the president or not, we don't care. We don't care. What we care is number one, barabara zijengwe, sewage system, health, education, equal. Ama unajua vitu zikifanyika, politics will be very less. Do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that? Politics hiyo, unaona vile tunashindana tumebishana vitu mingi, itaisha, upuzi itaisha. Yeah. Where you come from? How much do you pay to Nairobi? Nalipanga how much to Nairobi? 50 bob. How much? 50 to 70. 20. 50 to 70. Let me deal with this list of 50 to 70. Imagine if there's a public transportation system that would allow you to pay 30 shillings or 20 shillings and you can come to Nairobi within 20 minutes. Wouldn't that be better? Will that be better? Yeah, that would be better. Those are the things. I come from Kitengela and I have to spend 100 shillings to come to Nairobi. What if the railway system that is there is improved so that there's a train leaving Kitengela every 2 hours? One maybe at 6, another at 8 o'clock, another at 10 o'clock, maybe, I don't know. That the time that people are supposed to go to Nairobi, we can do some analysis, some time series analysis, or some trend analysis to do by the end of time. Why can't we have that? And people to leave Kitengela to Nairobi within 30 minutes. And you will see Kitengela grow very exponentially. Let us have people moving from, let us say, Nakuru to Nairobi. From here to Nakuru is around, is it 2 hours or 1 hour? Without traffic. Maybe 2 hours. So, let us have people moving from Nakuru to Nairobi within 1 hour. Like what we say, since 7:30. Saa 2:30 nitakuwa Nakuru. Na utoke hapa uende ufike Nakuru within 1 hour. How fast do you think Nakuru can go? You can live in your Ushago, that is Nakuru, and work in Nairobi. And all this money you spend in between here and Nairobi, you will spend it where? At Nakuru. Ikisema Nakuru simanishi Nakuru tu, na maanisha your village, and your village will grow. And everybody's village will be a town. Everybody's village will be a what? Yeah. That's what areas around Nairobi, outskirts, very developed. But as the further you move away from Nairobi, less developed. Number 5. Is it number 5? Unity of direction. Unity of direction. Number 5. Unity of direction. Say this. Tasks of a similar nature should be grouped under one manager. Tasks of a similar nature, task ni TASKS. Tasks of a similar nature should be grouped under one manager. E.g., marketing activities under marketing manager. E.g., marketing activities under marketing manager. Next one, subordination of interests. Submission, subordination of interests. Organizations' interests should override the individual interest. Organizations' interests should override the individual interests. Yes. So, i.e., the goals, interests of the firm should be supreme, i.e., in essence, the goals, interests of the organization should be supreme. Yes. And that's why tunaambiwa in marriage, we say in health, in sickness. In richness, in poverty. Whose interest is supposed to come first in a marriage? Is it the husband interest, or the wife interest, or the marriage interest? The marriage interest. Hello. People nowadays think marriage is, why do people marry? Why do people marry? Hello, what talk online? Why do people get married? I would be interested in getting to know. Why do people get married? Yes. Why do people get married? All right, good. To start a family. They say, okay, can you, why do people leave each other? Why are people divorcing? At a conflict of interest. Somebody's telling me companionship. Is companionship a primary interest of marriage? Primary means fundamental. It's not. It's secondary. Inakuja chini. The number one reason people get married is for procreation. To bring life into this world, to create life, to create children. So, once you create children, you have what is called easy to not easy. Duty, obligation, and responsibility to the children, to yourself, and to the wife. And that today is not taught. That today is not taught. People walk in Nairobi na kutana mrembo ni aje kofi tuko poa kuja sleepover. Anakuja sleepover na hata irudi kwao. Together. And they end up together. And they bring children to this life. 5 years later, conflict of interest. Kila mtu ende kivya. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. People today have not been taught the value of these things. And that's why jamaa, that's why wanaume wanakaa venye wanataka. Na wasichana pia wanakaa venye wanataka. Why? Because these things have not been taught. Na ndio hizi hapa tunazifundisha in management, but hatuzifunzi in society. We are told how to run a successful organization, but people are no longer taught how to run a successful marriage. Number 6. Somebody was asking, mbona naongelea hizi vitu sana? It's because I normally tell my students, I don't want to teach you about education. I want to teach you about what? About life. There's nothing as sad as being successful academically and then failing in what? Unajuanga tu vya kuka tu. Wewe mwenyewe tu unajua. It's very sad, very sad. So, number 7, remuneration. Remuneration. What is remuneration? Can't work for free. Say this. Rewards in the form of pay and other benefits. Rewards in the form of pay and other benefits. Rewards in the form of pay and other benefits. They should be fair to all in the organization. They should be fair to all in the organization. Yes. Can't afford you pay as you want. No, you must pay fairly. Others, if you don't pay fairly, people are going to leave. Number 8, centralization. 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 What is centralization? Depending on the size of the organization, power and authority, depending on the size of the organization, power and authority may be centralized. I.e., that in essence, retained within the top level management. I.e., retained within the top level management. Or it may be decentralized. Or it may be decentralized, underline decentralized, i.e., distributed to the middle and lower levels. Distributed to the middle and lower levels. All right. Next one, number 9. Chain of command. Chain of command. What is chain of command? It's also called scalar chain. Yes. President, deputy president, parliament, executive, judiciary. Lazima say this. Authority and command should be channeled through the positions. Authority and command should be channeled through the positions from top to bottom in the organization. Authority and command should be channeled through the positions from top to bottom of the organization. This continuous chain should not be broken. This continuous chain should not be broken. Hata kwa military na kuanga hivi. Commander in chief, commando, kwa police station, OCS, sijui nani, superintendent, sijui nini. There's a chain and it should not be broken. Next one, number 10, order. There must be order. Yes, order. There should be orderly coordination of human and material resources. There should be orderly coordination of human and material resources. Next one, say this. There should be orderly coordination of human and material resources. There should be a place for everything. There should be a place for everything. Hyphen. Right place. There should be a place for everything. Hyphen. Right place. Right person. Or right job. Right place. Right person. On right job with the right policies and procedures. With the right policies and procedures. Right policies and procedures. Yeah. Order. Without order, hakuna kitu kitafanyika. Chaos. Tuko na chaos. Next one, equity. 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 What is equity? There should be fairness and justice when dealing with subordinates. There should be fairness and justice when dealing with subordinates. Equity. There must be fairness and justice when dealing with subordinates. Usimistreat watu. Just because we have allowed the organization to rule over us does not mean that we should be misused. Yeah. Should be fairness. Feelings of injustice. Feelings of injustice. In promotion or compensation, feelings of injustice. In promotion or compensation demotivates employees. Feelings of injustice in promotion and or compensation demotivates employees. Poteza morale. All right. Next one, stability of tenure. Stability of tenure. Ukifanya kazi ukijua kesho utavutwa. Hakuna kazi unafanyanga. Zitavutwa. Unaanza kuvunja vikombe na kalamu. Utafanya kazi vizuri. After all, si utakuwa kesho. Say this. Recruitment should be conducted through proper channels. Recruitment should be conducted through proper channels. In order to avoid high rate of labor turnover. In order to avoid high rate of labor turnover. In order to avoid high rate of labor turnover. The stability of tenure. The stability of tenure improves organizational stability and goal achievement. The stability of tenure improves organizational stability and goal achievement. You can't keep on firing and hiring. You lose the values that you are trying to train. Because I have 30 employees. Alafu this year yote, we spend money, time, if you are trained how I want them to work, the values that I want. Alafu mwaka ikisha I fire half of them. Next year I bring another 15. So it means they've come with new values that I don't know about. It means I have to spend another time training them. So you need to maintain a core group of, anyway, so under strategy management. The next one, initiative. Initiative. There must be initiative. People must be willing to take action to achieve what is being said. Employees should be encouraged to act on their own whenever they have the opportunity to do so. Initiative. Employees should be encouraged to act on their own whenever they have the opportunity to do so. Whenever they have the opportunity to do so. Employees should be encouraged to act on their own whenever they have the opportunity to do so. Creativity and innovation should be encouraged. Creativity and innovation should be encouraged. Number 14, a spirit de corps, aka spirit of cooperation. The last one, a spirit, the COPS, spirit of cooperation. Managers should emphasize teamwork by building harmony. Managers should emphasize teamwork by building harmony and a sense of unity in the organization. And a sense of unity in the organization. Managers should emphasize teamwork by building harmony and a sense of unity in the organization. Team building improves corporate efforts. Team building improves cooperation efforts and goal achievement. Team building improves employee cooperation, efforts, and goal achievement. So those are the 14 principles of management. Ukiwa na hizo 14 principles of management, anything else yenye tutasoma will be derived from that. The semester of 2020, November, is it November or December? Yes. Question 1, B, and A. Ziliuliza kuhusu hii. This one was 2 marks. This one was 4 marks. They asked about this indirectly. They asked, what are some of the elements in an organizational structure that must be present for the organizational structure to work? What are some of the elements that are supposed to be within an organizational structure for it to work? What do you think should be an organizational structure for it to work? Team building and cooperation. I want you to pick a principle from here. Yes? Discipline. Why? Kwa nini discipline? You must be able to explain. Ni kwa nini discipline is important in a structure? Because there may be a structure, but without discipline, who's going to follow the instructions? No one. So the structure won't work. It is there, but it's not working. Proper remuneration, no. Proper remuneration, no. I want the major ones first. Authority. There must be authority. Because there's a structure, authority should be divided. Who you are going to power this, power this, power this, power. And that authority should be respected. All right? Next one. Yes? There should be order. There is a structure, but without order, how does the structure function? Are we together? Next one. Unity of direction. Very good. Next one. Centralization. So there are certain major principles here that you can be able to see. Division of labor, authority, discipline, unit of command, direction, subordination of interest, centralization, order, chain of command, ISO. Those are the major elements that must be there for an organizational structure to function. But I talked to someone named Max Weber. Max Weber talked about something called the bureaucratic school of management. And he talked about employees must be given very rigid structures to follow to ensure that productivity is high and also managers do not misuse their power. So he just improved on this. But then somebody called Mary Parker Follett and what she contributed. Henry Grant and what he contributed. And you will see that all these other scientific schools of management, all these other, they are borrowing from this. Panini, because Henry Fayol, the father of what? The father of management. So, our next and last issue Importance of management. Our last issue, importance of management. Watu wako online, are you receiving? Kwa sawa? Kuchonjo? Are we together? Importance of management. Say this. According to Peter Drucker, the following are, according to Peter Drucker, the following are some of the benefits of management. The following are some of the benefits of management. Number one, it encourages initiative. The following are some of the benefits of management. Number one, it encourages initiative. It encourages initiative. Number two, it encourages innovation. It encourages innovation. It encourages innovation. Next one. It facilitates growth and expansion. It facilitates growth and expansion. It facilitates growth and expansion. Next one. It improves the lives of the workers. It improves the lives of the workers. It improves the lives of the workers. Next one. It improves the corporate image. It improves the corporate image. It improves the corporate image. Next one. It motivates employees. It motivates employees. It motivates employees. Next one. It optimizes use of resources. It optimizes use of resources. Next one. It reduces wastage. It reduces wastage. Next one. It increases efficiency. It increases efficiency. Next one. It improves relations. It improves relations. Next one. It reduces absenteeism and labor turnover. It reduces absenteeism and labor turnover. Next one. It encourages teamwork. It encourages teamwork. Skip a line. Right, question. In practice of management, skip a line, question. In practice of management, we have administration. In practice of management, we have administration. Using a table, illustrate at least 5 differences between management and administration. Using a table, highlight at least 5 differences between management and administration. Using a table, highlight at least 5 differences between management and administration. You guys have a WhatsApp group? Yeah? WhatsApp group. Guys who are online, are you in the WhatsApp group? Muko too? Yes. Are you in the WhatsApp? Let us see if mtu hayuko aseme ndo tumuone. So next week, these are going to be our class. And our class is going to change. Ama bado mzaliwa. Maybe mzaliwa. They want to change the timetable kidogo. So next week, this is going to be our topic. Topic number 2. Development of management thoughts. Just a key that is very long. I'll be sending you a PDF. I'll be a PDF or something called the theories of management. In the future class, we will come and write short notes about what I would have said. That's how. So, who then I'll represent? Who's like leading you guys? Who's the leader? How many everybody for himself and God for us all? Is everybody for himself? So nitatumia nani? Okay, nitajua mtu nitatumia. Sasa alafu by you guys, I gave you guys my number. Yeah. Yeah, somebody can remind me. Let me share with these guys my number again, so that in case somebody does not have it, they have it. 07 722 45439. Yeah. So somebody hopefully will remind me, but I'll also be in the alert. I'll make sure I send you this document. To the class, we just discuss it and then we read some very few short notes so that you're able to save on time. It's very long. There are very many theories of management. You can imagine theories of management start from as early as 1800 all the way to 2000. 2021. Here we have what I call the contemporary theories. Here we have what I call the pre-classical theories. You can imagine all these theories. There is almost 15 theories. So if you're more in theories, we'll have 2 classes of theories. Even 2, around 3 classes to cover the theories of management. So we'll have one session whereby we'll discuss them, we read some few short notes, and then we'll proceed to the next issue. And then we'll answer some questions on the theories of management. Alafu niwaambie, kwa hizo theories of management, ni swali gani wanapenda kuuliza na wanaulizwa nini? Wanapenda kuuliza either the contributions of the school of management, the criticism, or something else that I'll highlight next week when we meet. Cheers. Have a nice weekend. And is there any question? I'll try and send before Sunday. Sunday's tomorrow. I'll try and send before Sunday. Guys, you're online here. Because any question? What online wamenyamaza? Uko sawa? Uko poa? So you guys have a very good weekend. See you next time. Class is over.